Hello everyone, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'll be mixing a few English and Malay in this presentation lah. Okay, so first of all, I would like to introduce myself. So I'm Kelvin, I'm from Czech Malaysia, and this is
Davis. Hello.
yeah. So Davis is from the Wildlife Society, Wildlife Conservation Society. Yeah, so I'm from Czech Malaysia. So we are Greenpeace successor. We are Greenpeace successor. So today we did a wonderful dive with the one crew today. So we had Nisa, we had Matlo as a captain, and also Shidin and Abang Masha. So yeah, so first of all, I would like to say welcome to Greenpeace. So welcome to Greenpeace. So as officially from the assessment today, the one has become a member of the Greenpeace family. So what is the Greenpeace family? So now there will be a short video of what it is, and yeah. So
Dive tourism industry is increasing at a rate of nearly 1 million divers per year, with 20 million certified scuba divers already out there. While this may be great news on one hand, on the other, we need to be sure we're diving responsibly and minimizing our impact on the environment. Healthy coral reefs host abundant marine life, are an enormous draw for tourists, and help boost the local economy. However, coral reefs are very sensitive to stress. A fifth of the world's coral reefs have already been lost, with more than 60% under immediate and direct threat. Increasing temperature, ocean acidification, pollution, and overfishing all play major roles. But poor diving or snorkeling practices can too. For example, divers and boat anchors can easily break coral that takes years to grow, damaging the habitat that fish and other marine animals depend on. As a diving community, we all make choices that have an impact on the long-term survival of the dive sites we enjoy. What kind of choices can you make if you're thinking of diving in? You can turn to a set of eco-friendly diving guidelines developed by the United Nations Environment Program in partnership with the Reef World Foundation. The Green Fins approach helps dive operators reduce their environmental impact by regularly assessing and certifying their performance. It also provides training and educational tools for dive staff and divers alike. If you're a dive operator, consider getting certified with Green Fins. If Green Fin certification isn't available in your area, consider adopting and applying the guidelines voluntarily. This includes ensuring the use of permanent moorings to prevent anchor damage to the reef, mandatory onboard waste management practices, and respecting local environmental regulations. A healthy ocean means a healthy business. If you're a diver or a snorkeler, look for a Green Fin certified operator in your area. Remember to follow a no-touch policy and keep your distance from coral and other marine life, especially when taking photographs. Avoid unintended contact by improving your buoyancy skills and securing your equipment. Try not to stir up sediment. And of course, don't litter. This will help you and future generations enjoy our planet. And most of all, have fun.
okay, so yes, so that's a little bit of intro of what is Greenpeace. Okay, so the main goal of Greenpeace is actually to minimize our impacts as divers and as guides when we go to the ocean and we do diving stuff. It's important that we need to control of what we do because as day goes by, the threats to the coral reefs are increasing. So makin banyak ancaman kepada laut kita, not only daripada environment, tapi if we add on to like the impacts of human impacts on tourism and all sorts of sources, it'll put our coral reefs at great risk. Okay. So today, so this is a two-way interaction. So if you have any question, kalau kamu ada soalan, kamu tanya saja. Just raise up your hands if you have any questions. So today's content is going to be what is Green Fins, a little bit intro about what is coral reefs and what are the threats to our coral reefs now, and what you can do as Greenfins members. Okay? So this is the Greenfins network. So it actually started around in the late 2000s in Thailand. So now it's moved all the way to Malaysia, Indonesia, Timor-Leste, Japan, the Maldives, Egypt, Jordan, and all the way to the Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, and Antigua region. Okay, so Greenfins is expanding every day as we speak. So the goal is to try to have everyone, all the dive operators, to have the same mindset untuk jaga kita punya terumbu karang, kita punya coral reef together, so that every time kita pergi laut, setiap kali kita pergi laut, kita boleh make sure that kita punya coral reefs bukan saja stay the same, tapi dia boleh recover dan tumbuh lagi banyak dan lagi besar. Okay? So Greenfins is a program under the United Nations environmental program. So, and internationally, it is regulated by the Reef World Foundation, and in Malaysia, in Sabah, it is governed by Sabah Parks. So, Greenfins is governed by Sabah Parks in Sabah, and for NGOs, Reef Check Malaysia and WCS is one of the assessors for the Greenfins. And now we have you guys. The Greenfin members, also an integral part, an important member of the Greenfins network. Okay. So kami ada buat survey. So ada survey dibuat pada 2022. So survey ni dia lebih kepada, dia tanya kepada divers seluruh negara, bukan, kepada 120 negara, dan 2,400 orang sudah respon. Okay. So from what this survey tells us, 75% of the respondent are willing to pay more for conservation. Maksudnya, if dive shops wanted to increase their rate because they wanted to have like a more sustainable income to protect the coral reef. Yeah, they are willing to do that. Maksudnya the public actually pun dorang ada this mindset untuk jaga juga, and from their respondents juga, they also think that 95% of them think dive operators should do more. Okay. That one today had a lot of things that I like personally, because I saw that some of the guides they pick up trash whenever they can see, and also they did not do any anchoring, which is a huge achievement for them. So maksudnya, walaupun kamu baru hari ini kamu certified as Greenfins members, tapi sebenarnya kamu lama sudah jadi Greenfins members. Okay. So this is the Greenfins conduct. So we have 15 code of conducts. So as Greenfins members, inilah kamu punya kitab selama kamu jadi Greenfins members. So there are 15. So this will be the core of how you guys will be operating as a Greenfins members. So this code of conduct has been developed for 20 years. So 20 years of network. So yeah, dive centers who follow this boleh bantulah in reducing the impact towards the coral reefs. Okay, now we have another video for you guys to see.
Greenfins is a UN Environment Programme initiative spearheaded globally by the Reef World Foundation. The Greenfins Code of Conduct provides the only internationally recognized environmental standards to stop the environmental impact from marine tourism activities. By adopting Greenfins, an operation becomes an advocate for environmentally positive practices. Displaying Greenfins membership materials promotes best practice and helps tourists identify environmentally responsible operators. Customers are likely to copy the actions of their instructors and guides. Always follow the Greenfins environmental tips to promote positive behavior from guests. Participating in cleanups helps to preserve the marine environment where you work. This also helps raise awareness about the threats of marine debris and creates change on a larger scale. Always use mooring buoys and, when allowed, support in installing and maintaining. When moorings are not available, use drift or hand-place anchors to avoid damaging the marine environment. Never drop an anchor on live coral, seagrass, or other marine life. The sale or display of marine life encourages harvesting of important species. If there is less demand, then less marine life will be removed from the ocean. Every shell plays a role. Marine monitoring is an excellent way to learn more about marine life in your local area. The data collected can help protect the marine environment and educate others. Providing suitable bins and ashtrays prevents trash from entering the ocean where it can harm marine life. Make sure all trash is segregated, disposed responsibly, and recycled where possible. Take steps to prevent toxic cleaning products, sunscreens, engine oil, and other hazardous chemical waste from entering the water. Replace products with eco-friendly options where possible. Environmental laws were developed for the protection and conservation of marine life. Make sure to follow and keep up to date with the rules and penalties that apply in your area. Always inform guests about best environmental practice every time before going in the water to encourage responsible behaviour when out on dive and snorkel trips. Staff and guests are more likely to follow environmental standards and improve the sustainability of your operation if they're given adequate training. Greenfin's e-courses are available to help with this. Providing these materials is an engaging way to educate divers and get them invested in preserving your local marine life. Help to educate guests about where local marine protected areas are and why they are important. Contact with marine life and coral can stress, damage, or even kill them. Promote a strict no-touch policy to avoid contact with the marine environment. Find out more about Greenfins on the website and social media.
Yeah, that's a little bit of what the 15 code of conduct for Greenfins are. So yeah, like I said, from the dive today, I've already seen the one are already doing the things that should be on the 15 codes of conduct. So I'm certain that this dive shop will grow more into Greenfins members as we continuously grow each year. Okay, so a little bit information on how the membership is processed. So first is usually dive operators need to register under the Greenfins Hub. So once that is done, an in-person assessment will be conducted by the assessors, which is what we have done today. And then there will be an environmental staff training or presentation of what Greenfins are, which is what we are doing right now. So after this will be we'll give a feedback session of what the outcome of the Greenfins assessment, and then we will give like a sustainability action plan, which means we will give 3 points that you can do this year to improve as Greenfins members moving forward. Okay. So as certified Greenfin members, you'll be assessed based on scores, and you will be awarded restricted for like more than 300 scores, and bronze, silver, and then the best would be gold members. So what we need to try, what our goal is to be gold members or to reduce as much impact as we can as operators when we go diving to the ocean. So now I would like to talk about what are coral reefs. Coral reefs. So I'm sure satu mungkin kamu tahu sudah apa coral reefs, tapi sekarang kita lagi mendalam lah apa itu coral reefs. Okay. So there's a pop quiz lah, a short pop quiz. Anyone knows what is coral? Apa tu coral? Siapa pernah tahu? Adakah dia haiwan, tumbuhan ataupun dia just batu? Haiwan? Haiwan, ada jawapan lain? Anyone know what are corals? This form. So why is it an animal? Because it can reproduce. It has a mouth to eat. It has a stomach to digest, and it also moves. So even though you don't see it moving, walaupun tak dapat bergerak, tapi when you look very closely, you see the tentacles moving. Okay, so that's why they are called animals lah. Okay, now another short pop quiz. So this is what we call honeycomb coral. Okay, so biasanya kita nampak ni dia batu-batu besar kan. So batu-batu besar, ada yang besar ini macam ni, ada besar yang besar macam kereta lah apa kan. So how long do you think does it take for this one polyp to grow 1 centimeter? Kamu boleh imagine 1 centimeter berapa besar? So 1 centimeter is like this big. Okay, so how long do you think this coral can grow to 1 centimeter? Berapa tahun atau berapa bulan? Any guess?
A year.
A year? Okay, a year. Any other guesses? So it shows that even though corals are big, some are like very very colorful, but they are very fragile. And once are broken, it takes very long time for them to recover and regrow. Okay. Okay. So like I said, each polyp is called an animal. So when all these animals group together, they form a colony. So this one big coral here are colonies of all these animals. Okay. So when there are a lot of animals, all these colonies in one area, we call them coral reef. So imagine like we have the Malays in one corner, so that's one colony. We have the Chinese in one corner, so that's one colony. So when we group all of them together, they form one coral reef. Okay, so they have like a community, and they serve a big purpose in maintaining the coral reef. Okay. So why are corals important? So as we know, it's habitat for a lot of marine life. So these marine life are what people would usually want to see when they fly all over the world to come see them here. Yeah, so 30% of the species of marine life all live around coral reefs. So yeah, so coral reefs is a big home for a lot of animals. Okay, so community protection. Kalau kamu sedar, in some areas ada pantai yang sudah terhakis. Okay, so bila kamu snorkeling apa semua, kamu boleh sedar tiada coral di sana. Okay, kebanyakannya mungkin batu ataupun coral-coral yang mati. So why corals are important? Because they act as wave barriers. Okay, so when waves, bila ombak besar kan, kadang-kadang during storms, so these corals, like the big ones especially, they act as wave barriers. So bila tenaga ombak tu ditapis, bila dia sampai dengan pantai, dia tidak hakis itu pantai cepat sangat. Okay, so corals are also used for medicinal purposes. So they open up a big opportunity for research in medicine lah, for human medicine. And as you know, food. Okay, so we have a lot of marine animals that live there, and we usually consume for food, for fish, crabs, shrimps, yeah, a lot. So next is tourism, which is important for you guys. So yeah, so we have raised like a lot of marine life that people would die for. You would pay thousands of dollars, ringgits, just to come here, just to see these animals. So that's why coral reefs are important. And as important as it is, it's always under risk. It's always at risk. Okay. So if you get Sabah, So Sabah, you can see that there's a lot of medium color, which means it's under the medium threat level. And if you see in Sepona, right over here, um, there's more red color than orange, than yellow. So which means that Sepona, why Sepona has red threat level? Because Sepona has one of the most tourist yeah, a lot of tourists come to Sepona compared to other places in Sabah. So that's why the more people come, the more the corals are at risk. And also, Sepona is one of the part of Coral Triangle. Coral Triangle. So Coral Triangle tu adalah area di mana coral paling banyak spesies coral di sana. So Sepona is part of that area. So because Sepona is part of the Coral Triangle, we need to be more careful and more responsible to taking care of it. Okay. So yeah, 95% of coral reefs are at risk of human activities. So from anchoring, so from even small things like sampah, snorkeling, and a lot of things if not done responsibly. Okay. So global threats is climate change. So kalau kamu sedar, last year we had like the biggest coral bleaching event. Maybe in Sepona didn't really see that much, but I think in West Coast, the bagian KK, bagian KB, coral bleaching was really big. Macam semua coral jadi putih. And then also in Peninsula juga. So what this happens is they will leave the corals very fragile. So ibarat kamu sudah sakit kan. So bila kamu sakit, kamu lebih senang untuk cedera ataupun apa. So when these corals are bleaching, so they are more susceptible to disease and damage lah. Okay. So next is climate change. So last year we were also hit by a massive storm. Okay, a lot of corals did not survive, unfortunately, in KK. And also ocean acidification. So ocean acidification ni dia lebih kepada, dia maksudnya air kita semakin acidic lah. Okay, so apa kesan dia kepada corals is the corals are made of calcium carbonate. So basically when the ocean becomes more acidic, the calcium carbonate structure becomes more fragile. So whenever there's impact or physical touch, they are more susceptible to the damage. Okay. Okay. So this is what bleaching is. So last year we were hit by the 4th global mass coral bleaching event. So it's where these little algae called Zooxanthella, they leave the corals when they are stressed. Biasanya bila suhu tinggi, dia akan jadi putih lah. And then why Zooxanthella ni penting? Because they provide makanan kepada corals tu. They provide makanan. So bila dia tidak makanan, dia akan jadi stress. Dia lama-lama dia akan mati lah. Unable to recover. Okay. Okay. So next is overfishing. So overfishing is also a big problem because in the early days they usually just catch like big fish macam barracuda, like all the big fish kan. But now they're doing in reverse. So now they're catching not only the small fish yang belum matang pun dia sudah tangkap, tapi dia juga tangkap macam herbivores like parrotfish. So why these herbivores are important? Because they prevent coral reefs from covered in algae. Okay? Jadi dia elakkan terumpu karang ni di cover oleh lumut. Jadi bila dia di cover oleh lumut, coral reefs, benih coral tu tidak dapat tumbuh lagi. So corals need rocks that are not covered by anything to attach and grow. So when these algae are covering all the rocks that on that coral reef, they don't have a chance to grow anywhere. Okay. Okay. Next is so pollution. So I don't think I need to talk about much because pollution is a serious thing that we all see. So not only from trash, sewage discharge, coastal development. So all these can help. All these will cause corals to become stressed. So eventually they will die off. So in Sepona we have things like this, like anchoring. I've heard a lot of you guys complaining about anchoring, macam buang jangkar di tiba-tiba pandangan. Okay, so the aim of this Philippines initiative is to teach everyone to become more responsible about these things lah. Okay, so harassing marine animals is also a big issue. Like I think last year ada satu case, no, earlier this year or last year ada case kan, like pedang penyu and then budayut sama whale shark kan. So that's those are the things that we shouldn't do lah, because harassing marine animals can also cause them stress. For example, like this puffer kan, if we kacau them di bawah, so when they inflate, they will rise up. Okay, so that rise will cross them to like pressure because they have air kan, and then yeah, they'll die lah. So when they go up, they'll be inflated. Dorong jadi kembung lah, tapi they'll die lah because the pressure is too much for them. Okay, so marine littering is also bad. We can see like turtles eating plastic bags. We can see like plastic bags covering corals. So all these are, even though they're small things, but it has a big impact on coral reefs. Okay, so these are the threats that I was talking about. So we have big threats. Okay, big threats that need big movement. Maksudnya storm, pollution, acidification, overfishing, climate change, and plastic fishing. So that's something that needs a teamwork lah. So not only us, but the government or all agencies lah. But I know that's hard to tackle because we are individuals kan. We are like small groups. We are only a dive shop. But what we can do is minimizing the other threats that we can control, such as rash, tourism impact, no fish feeding, no shell collection, no habitat removal, and reducing anchor damage. Okay? Okay. So all these are very important because actually coral reefs are very resilient. Okay? Coral reefs sebenarnya dia tahan, tapi bila dia banyak stres kan, dorang pun boleh sampai apakan daya kan, dorang pun tidak dapat tahan juga bila there's a lot of stresses that are causing them to be sick, to be ill. Okay? That's why coral resilience. So that's why if we can minimize those small threats, small impacts too, from what we can do as a dive shop, we can help coral reefs to be resilient lah. We need to give them space to let them heal by themselves, to be and also to reduce their local impacts, to give them opportunity to survive in any situation. Okay. Next, I would like to hand over to Davis for the next.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hopefully you guys are still fresh, and well fed. So I'm just going to cover. Good job to Calvin to introduce about greenfin and what coral is and what are the threats that the corals are facing right now. And now I'm trying to give some information as to what we can do to eradicate all these threats. That is to help out the survivability rate of these corals. Yeah. Okay. Next. So the first thing for us to be able to have a good practice upon limiting the threats upon coral reef is, first be a role model to ourselves first. So by self-educating ourselves first, by just looking up to the internet, as simple as that, as to what can I do to improve, to lessen the risk of like breaking up the corals, for example. So itu kan tempat ikan hidup kan, yang kita mau tunjuk yes. So we need to protect that coral reefs lah, to ensure that reefs are sustaining in the long term. So next is to encourage. Once we acquire the information, and then we educate by encouraging other people. So with that said, because we can't do all this managing the threats alone, we need the support from other people as well, other fellow divers. We need to find them, advise them the good practice of how to minimize the threats upon the coral reefs. Okay, third is to correct, not criticizing like marah-marah lah, not scolding, but just to correct what is wrong when you see something is wrong, that we can mitigate the current practice might not be good, then we correct them by giving advice, so to say, just to so that people will improve in the long run of how to manage the risk. And fourth, to explain. Every time when we say that, don't do that, don't do this, yeah, we need to provide an explanation to them, or else people will just, why not? So they will just simply do it again. Kan? Betul kan? Kalau kita cap, jangan buat gitu, jangan buat gitu. Dan kalau tapi dorang dia faham, buat sajalah sekali. So we need to be able to explain that as to why we are doing so. Okay, next. Okay, di sini saya nak tanya. This are the do's and don'ts for a good diver, how they should behave underwater. So, okay, kita tengok yang don'ts ni dulu. Do you see any of this being practiced when you were in your experience as a diver? Don't need to point fingers as to who did it. We just want to know as to whether you have experience upon seeing any of this being practiced while you dive with your fellow friends or anyone else. Ada kah? Ada. So what are the practice that you see that is being conducted? Have you seen people feeding fish underwater? Ada tak? Pernah orang kasi makan? Ada. So makan bread begitu kan? Just fish feeding. Yeah, stare, knock upon the corals. Have you seen people feeding on the corals and then break them off? No pointing, no pointing. Don't people shake. So, have you seen that? Yeah, you've seen that, kan? So, if time goes by, this practice is still ongoing, then we have less and less corals because as Calvin mentioned just now, the corals, they grow rather slowly. So if we keep breaking these corals on daily basis especially, then we do not have any more corals in the long term to show to the guests, and the guests do not have the coral reef to see, and also a fish to live in, right? Okay, so let's see the good things about being a good diver here. So one of it is to respect the marine life and give plenty space. For example, like, if you see sea turtles, people will usually like chase them out, kan, just to get a good picture. Is that right? Okay. So just way we should approach these marine animals. Picture, yes, but not to be too near to these marine animals that they feel being harassed, because they need space as well. Like people suddenly, strangers come to you, dekat-dekat, do you feel comfortable? No, right? Tidak kan? So we need to respect the wildlife as well. Next. So this is what a good practice in the dive sector that should be giving, like environmental briefing, in the sense that not only that you give briefings on the safety of the divers while they go underwater, but also give environmental briefings related to how they should behave, for example. Like, okay, please, as a reminder, please make sure that your fin do not touch the ground, for example, like that, but give maybe a 3 pointers or more, just so that the divers will be reminded and know how should they behave underwater. Okay? Next. Okay. Going to show you a brief video.
Pre-dive environmental briefing. Why is an environmental briefing important?
by including the environmental briefing so that the divers avoid to break rules and harass animals. Preserve the next generation and more diving enjoy.
What to include in an environmental briefing? Implement a no-touch policy. Touching the reef can damage it and spread diseases and cause stress to the animals. Promote a strict no-glove policy. By providing protection, gloves encourage divers to touch the reef. Respect marine life. Chasing or harassing animals can cause stress and harm. Teach your guests respect.
They are available in multiple languages. They have Chinese, they have like French, Spain, and whatever, whatever language that is popular in the world, especially in where the dive centers are usually can be found at. And then it's easy to understand. When you look at the picture here, you will know already, right? When you see that, do not touch the turtle. So that's very easy to understand from based on the visuals you can see here in this template. Alright? So next. And these icons is also available in the website with, for the Griffin members. And then in each of these icons there is an explanation in order for some guides. Maybe they need some sort of context. What are the key points to give an explanation to the case? For example, this one. Okay, no stepping on corals. But you can see from the picture also already no stepping on corals. But maybe here there is a clear definition as to no, and this is the explanation as to why you cannot step on corals, because it's very fragile and takes a long time for the corals to grow. So it's available in the site as well. So this is a good sort of like a template for the dive guides who wants to give environmental briefing to guests, so that they will understand it. The next would be, like, for example, you don't stir the sediment. Why cannot the divers not encourage to stir the sediment? Like it can reduce the visibility and can also like cover up the corals and make them smothering up the corals and make them sort of like have lesser chances to survive. Here is quite obvious, you know, chase or touch the marine life because they are wildlife, so we have to respect the oceans, we have to respect the wildlife. And it can cause stress if we were to chase them down and touch them. Like just treat the wildlife as we treat ourselves as well. We do not like to be touched by strangers or being chased at. So that's the policy that we should enforce to ourselves, to the wildlife as well. Next. and in water corrections. So this is one of the things that the guides can do lah, in the sense that when there are some things that are amiss, that is not compliance to what is being put in here, the dive guides can advise the divers, okay, please come up from the surface, not too close to the corals, or you might break on them. So just give them signals and feeding on the corals. That will educate them to remind them time to time to not do the don'ts as per indicated in the template here. Next. Sorry. Yeah, there's a video, a brief video.
Guiding divers towards best environmental practice. Why is it important to guide divers towards best environmental practice? Research shows that correcting customers underwater helps them to improve their diving ability and learn best environmental practices. Here are the behaviours a guide should look out for so they can correct divers underwater and help them become good environmental role models. Divers that bring too much extra weight can cause a lot of damage to the reef. Remove extra weight until the diver can remain neutrally buoyant. Secure all diver equipment before entering the water to prevent it from dragging along the reef. Remember to check your divers and re-secure anything that comes loose during the dive. Stirring the sediment can damage corals and limit visibility. Show divers that they should keep their fins up away from the seabed by flopping horizontally. Contact with coral can damage the gill. Dive guides should always stop divers kicking or touching coral and ask them to remain horizontal and neutrally buoyant in water. Chasing marine life can cause serious stress and damage. Get your divers to relax and enjoy marine life from a respectful distance. Touching coral can damage it or spread disease. Guides should correct their customers and ask them not to wear gloves. All marine life provides coral reefs with the valuable nutrients and materials they need to survive. Take nothing but pictures and leave nothing but bubbles. Dive guides can be exceptional models, helping customers improve their diving abilities and correcting them underwater will make their trip even more memorable.
So, okay, that's is it somewhat inspiring to you, dive guides? Hopefully you will be able to adopt some of this, the near future in your dive sessions. Okay, for everyone's attention, this is the sun protection that people are using, like sunblocks and sunscreen. There are some chemicals that are actually dangerous to the corals. Next. So this includes these two chemicals. They're actually can cause the corals to die by becoming white. When you see whitish color to the corals, aside from being predated by coral predators, they can also kill the corals by having sunscreen with these ingredients. So make sure that when you look at the ingredients in your sunscreen, it is encouraged that you find the reef safe sunscreen or sunblock, or else they will damage not only the corals, but also they can alter the animals, marine animals' DNA, and can cause to inhibit some hormones and cause some diseases. So we do not want that to happen, right? We don't want to look at our reefs with fishes that are stressed out because of the disease and so on. Alright. So we will always promote a good behavior on divers. So that is what the management approach of green divers that is trying to instill in every divers and with the help of dive guides and dive centers to keep on promoting this. Next. So anchoring and mooring. Anchoring means you drop the anchor down, right? And mooring, do you guys know what mooring is? Mooring is a line that is can go to the dive site and secure it instead of putting down any anchor, which might crash into the reef and crush coral. So that's why people, it is encouraged to use the mooring boards to avoid any anchor damage caused by the anchor from the boats that are going to the dive sites. Alright? So digital tools. So as I mentioned earlier, the Greenfins Hub, actually you can just go into the website and explore more. There's a lot of information over there, and I'll explain what are the information. Okay, here they will indicate who are the Greenfin members in the globe, and next, which usually in the Caribbean, Southeast China Sea. As mentioned here, there are countries, and you click upon the countries, and then they will find some regions in the countries, and they will find all of the dive center listed as members. So, a more conscious divers who knows more on greenfins will tend to look upon this website to see the dive centers that are acquiring this membership, as to whether what sort of like level of membership they have, so that the greenfin conscious divers will go to this website, these dive centers, as a way to support their business, their green business. Next. Okay, the dive centers who are scoring the high-rated score, mean to say high-rated, mean to say the lowest impact, will be also showcased in the global top 10 in the website, meaning to say Hall of Fame in the website, to sort of promote the dive center as well. That okay, this dive center are the model dive center for the greenfin. Next. And Action Center is also here, where you can download all of this, how to implement the policies of a mooring buoy, for example. You can just look here in the hub, and then you can get a lot of information. Next. Online courses are also available, not only to the dive center alone, but also to individuals who are interested, where the divers who wants to know how to become a better diver, who adopts a green approach towards diving, can self-register into these online courses as well. Next. And YouTube channel as to, for example here, Greenfin Pre-Dive Environmental Briefing. So if you have no clue, or you need some guidance as to how to make a good environmental briefing, so here in this website they give links to the YouTube channels that is relevant as to how best to give a good environmental briefing. Because some people they do not know how to give a good briefing, so you can just refer to this. Next. So this is how the Greenfin looks like. It's an online platform that is recently being developed. Last time it was a website, but they now refurbish it to make it more friendly towards the users, and it is very easy to find sort of resource materials that you need for your operation, dark operation. Next. So there is also a community forums, in a sense that you can present your issues, for example, that might be unique, and you seek for the community within the Greenfins to give advice, then you can find it in the community forum. Okay, next. So that's all, and I hope that you can make a difference. Thank you.
Anyone have questions you want to ask before we end for this presentation?
ada soalan kamu masalah Greenfield, you can ask in any language
Sedang.
between Malay and English.
Any questions?
Mengantuk.
Anyone?
No questions? Okay.
If there are no questions, once again I would like to thank Mr. Shabil, the dive crew, and also the rest of the Dubuan dive shop for having us today. So I hope you had a great time listening to our presentation, and I hope everyone have a good evening. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Tanya apa?
Kejap saya pikir.
Sedang.